Mom, I'm leaving. You guys aren't giving me treats. Oh wait, you said treats, Mom. You said I'm back. You said treats. Mom. I was just joking. I'm not leaving, but can I still have my treats? Can I have my treats? Yes. Like that's not helping me. Look at helping me. Give me my treats. What the? Mom. Boop. Boop. I'm gonna go see Dad. Dad, can I have my treats, please? Dad, can I please have my treats? Look at me, Dad. I'm giving you hugs. I want my treat. Why are you guys not listening to me? Huh? Why are you not listening to me? Oh, but that feels good, Dad. I like that.
The mics are hot right now, just so you know.
You're hot. That feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Right there. The spot. Oh, Daddy. What, Daddy? What do you got? What do you got for me? Daddy.
Hello, welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here, Heidi over there. Puddles going out her treats over there. Yeah, this is potentially going to be a less fun episode than normal. Because yeah, this is the chapter where she justifies marital rape.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
I know, but I got content warnings up. Because, like, this is the kind of thing that some people might want to give this episode a miss. I'm sure we will still find plenty to make fun of her for, but I don't want to take that topic lightly. So before we get all serious, I do just have one thing that I want to say. I pre-recorded it, so... Why did you push that baby? Yeah, that's... I have that clip as a result of my recording process. And I thought it was funny that I just deadpanned it to the camera. Like, that's not going to be in the final video. It was just...
Well, now they're all going to be disappointed.
Yeah, well...
Okay, so I've decided that I really don't like this setup.
You don't like the setup?
No, because I like to look at you when I talk to you, but then they can't see me. So it's like...
No, you look at it. I have the cameras positioned so that when we're looking at each other, it looks like we're looking at each other.
I know, but then they're still looking at the side of my face. And
Okay,
not my
what's
beautiful front face.
wrong with that? Your beautiful front face. As opposed to your back face?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I am turning the volume up on the mics a little bit.
Mic Jack!
No, too much. No, it's still too much. Why? Oh my goodness. It just needed like this little tiny bump. And I don't know. It's still going. It's right back to where it was. I don't know what's going on. Whatever.
Someone's like, content warning for this, but not your Wednesday night stream.
Yeah, Wednesday night streams, we don't know, because I feel like this whole chapter is going to be a discussion of this. Maybe I'm just being too cautious with this. But yeah.
Oh my god, that's actually terrible.
What flavor is it?
Blackberry.
Ah.
But not really. Which now makes me like worried about the other flavor I got. It was called the forbidden fruit. So I was like, what fruit is the forbidden fruit? And she read out like, oh, it has nodes of citrus and this and pine. I'm like,
just tell me what fruit it's supposed to taste like.
It was like a wine bottle, like.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's got nodes of citrus and blah blah blah.
She's talking about marijuana bevies.
Yeah, but this is just supposed to taste up straight up blackberry, and it
does not.
So I don't know what the forbidden fruit's gonna taste like. I feel like garbage.
Probably.
But you know.
Yeah. Oh, we got a godless granny in the chat. Hi.
Hi, Granny.
I didn't forget to do the recording for you. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I'll do it soon. I know it'll take me like 30 seconds.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Wait, what chapter are we on?
27.
Ready?
Okay. How funky is that chicken? How funky is that chicken? How loose is your goose? Our goose is totally loose.
Whatever.
We're doing a different rendition?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was doing Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
So was I.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it's been years since either of us has seen it, so.
How do you know?
Who's right?
How do you know it has been years?
So when was the last time you saw it?
Years.
There you go.
But you didn't know that. Okay. Recharging his battery. I work hard all day, Jim explains.
She works
So do
hard
I.
for the money.
So do I. When I come home, my greatest desire is to be recharged so I can go back out and do it all again the next day. Me too, Jim. What I wish my wife understood is that sex recharges me.
So does sleep.
Yeah.
Like sometimes after a hard day, if I'm tired, I don't want to have a hard day when I get home, if you know what I mean. Yeah, no, sometimes I'm just tired and I want to sit. And the idea of having
read,
sex is just...
Or like doing a hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the only thing that recharges you. Hello. Send me to the spa.
No,
I will
again,
be fully recharged.
This just demonstrates the low opinion that Christians have of men.
And women.
Well, and women, but like in particular, like women are to be subservient to the men, yeah, and that's really stupid, but like the reasoning for that is justified in a way that just like it makes men into these essentially just mindless animals who like, I want food and sex.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You guys need to evolve a little bit more.
Yeah, I know.
Damn it. She acts like it is a drain, but I wish she understood that when I'm left unfulfilled, it's like going to work with an empty tank. It is a drain. She's got a baby on her hip, food on the stove, laundry to fold.
Yeah. You know how I said sometimes I get home and I'm too tired for sex?
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, as if I leave the house, but like after a long, hard day, sometimes I'll be too tired for sex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that can happen to both parties.
Yeah.
Shocking, I know.
Yeah, I know. Women tend to view sex very differently than men do. You need to talk to more women. For us, sex does indeed begin in the morning with a kiss on the cheek, continues with a phone call in the middle of the day, and builds with help with the dishes for dinner. Okay, was he doing any of that when he asked for sex? For a man, sex begins the moment his switch is flipped, when you crawl into bed at night.
Yeah, no, I totally... You kissing me has nothing to do with sex at all. It's only when you get naked and into bed. That's it. It's so reductionist and boring.
I shall refrain from touching you until bedtime.
I don't want that.
That's what Sharon said. If I want to be the woman of your dreams, I gotta refrain.
Yeah.
Damn it. Oh, what recharges your battery? Shopping, coffee with friends, rest, time alone, a pedicure, a spiritual retreat? Yes, all of those things
All of those could recharge his battery too.
Yeah.
Including the pedicure.
Mm-hmm. I like a man with nice hands and feet.
I'm sorry.
You got nice hands. Guess what recharges your man's battery? Sex. Sex can also recharge my battery.
Yeah.
If your husband is under stress because a project is due next week, one of the best gifts you can give him is to recharge his battery by making love and giving him the confidence he needs. So actually, a lot of men who are stressed, they don't want sex.
When I was under stress because I was behind on my videos and I really wanted to get them done so I could get caught up, so I could actually like take weekends off again and have evenings with you instead of evenings working, then like, yeah, they're like, it's not that I didn't want sex in those moments. It's just that like I have a limited amount of time and I can either like Like the time I have with you, I can spend it in like conversation and, quality time. Not that sex is not quality time, but it's a different quality.
Yeah. But
And,
like for a lot of
and
men.
there were times where we prioritized sex, and there were other times when we prioritized spending time together in other ways.
Yeah. But for a lot of men, stress also causes problems in that department. So it's not as simple as he's stressed and let's go do this.
Yeah, maybe he needs a good cuddle on the couch.
Yeah. Or just some rest or whatever. Or for conversations to unburden himself. I don't know.
Go sit.
Everybody's different. Did his boss chew him out today? I don't know. Did he lose that big order?
I chew myself out every day, so.
You do, and I have to make you feel better. No, I don't have to, but I do. Especially with salt water. Did he miss a deadline? Did he have to confront a coworker?
I haven't missed a deadline since 2017.
But you have confronted a coworker.
When?
Not today, but usually on Thursdays.
Oh. Sit down and do the fucking mic check.
Never! There are many events in a man's day that drain his emotional battery. Okay, and there are many events in a woman's day that drains her battery, like having to take care of her man because he's a man-child.
Lana N says sex can also drain the battery, so remember to keep the vibrator charged.
True story. True story. Oh, damn it. Eh. Woman of his dreams is God's unique physical and mental therapy prescription.
No, therapy is a
therapy.
therapy prescription.
Yeah, therapy.
And also, like, I've joked about her being my therapist because she is studying to become a therapist, but that's actually a really bad idea.
Yeah, no. Puddles would like more treats.
Yeah, I know she would like more treats. I would like her to sit still. Because every time she gets in her thing and I turn on the camera and then she gets out of the thing as soon as the camera shows up.
But outside of the notion that being the therapist for friends and family is a bad idea because you are...
Sit. Lie down.
I'm trying to have a conversation.
Lie down.
No, just give her her treat.
Okay, fine. Just trying to get her to, like, actually get herself comfy in there.
Yeah, outside of the fact that my opinion would be biased, as a therapist, if you're also a therapist to your friends and family, you don't ever get time to be just yourself outside of that role. So then it becomes a burden for you.
Yeah, so. There's also the very likely possibility that it would become unintentionally manipulative.
Yeah.
Where, like, the therapy I'm providing you is specifically to nudge you in a direction that I want you to go, not necessarily where you want to go.
So I said biased.
Yeah, I was just elucidating.
Hallucinating?
Elucidating.
You were hallucinating.
No, it wasn't.
Dr. John Gray explained it this way. Many times after having great sex with my wife, I realized that I had forgotten how beautiful the trees are in our neighborhood. I go outside and breathe in the fresh air and feel alive again. It is not that I didn't feel alive in my work, but by connecting with my wife through great sex, I can reawaken and bring my more sensual feelings that are easily forgotten in the focused pursuit of achieving my goal at work. In a sense, great sex helps me to stop and smell the roses. Excerpt.
Yeah, but you could just stop and smell the roses anyway. Like,
yeah.
What do single guys do if they want to appreciate natural beauty?
I mean, they're not allowed to go hiking or fishing or like cycling or riding on their motorbike. They're not allowed to do any of those things. So I don't know what they would do to appreciate.
Yeah, and they're not allowed to have sex, so it's not like
it's not that they're not allowed.
Sex.
Oh yeah,
well, not according to Sharon.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're not allowed to have sex.
Yeah, so how are they supposed to appreciate beauty if it takes sex, like wonderful sex with your wife, in order for you to appreciate beauty?
Poor men.
Yeah. They'll never be able to enjoy a sunset again until they get married.
Damn it.
So she just eats them and runs away.
Well, that's why I hide them. I tuck them under the thing. So she has to like look for them. Sex is one of the most effective ways we can encourage and minister to our husbands. Through making love, we
Oh
assure
God.
him
Oh God.
that he is still desirable and very much a man. Mm. I know you want me to get on my knees for you, so I'll minister to you. Responding to him. Did you know? No, no, no.
Was
Do you want to know what your man desires more than anything?
ask him, because it'll be different depending on the man.
Mm-hmm. This may surprise you, but he wants to see you sexually fulfilled. My man definitely does.
Yeah.
He longs to see you respond to him. I feel like...
Well, I also know how to get you to respond to me.
Yeah, I feel like this is leading in a direction of faking orgasms.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Actually, just communicate and do things together that you both enjoy. And actually, well, sometimes do things that you don't necessarily enjoy that your partner enjoys, and vice versa. It's like, I don't know. What I enjoy is when you enjoy things.
And I enjoy things. He wants to know that he is the one who can take you to the moon and back with a crescendo or ecstasy that he created. He longs to know that you are sexually aroused to his touch and that he is a great lover. Not really all men actually care about that.
Well, then also, like, if that's what he wants, then maybe communicate the things that he could do that would make him a great lover.
Well, first he has to be open to that communication.
Yeah.
Because surprisingly, a lot of men...
Surprising to me, I don't understand the mindset you're about to describe.
A lot of men have this preconceived notion that they know exactly what to do all the time with every woman. And so when you have these experiences with them, it's like, not quite. But because men have very fragile egos, it's very hard for women to communicate this stuff to them.
Mm-hmm, because then they get offended and they're like, oh, are you saying I'm not good in bed? It's like, I'm trying to help you be good in bed.
Yeah.
It's like nobody wants their partner to be bad in bed.
Yeah. So yeah, for a lot of women, it's just like, why bother? Damn it. When he sees you have an earth-shaking orgasm, he thinks to himself, I did that to her. Thank you very much.
At least she acknowledges that female orgasms are a real thing and are desirable, instead of sex just being this perfunctory thing that...
We will give you props for that shit.
Yeah.
As Dr. Kevin Lehman states, there is not a man on the planet who doesn't want to know he can make his woman go crazy in bed. Excerpt. Yes, there actually is.
Yeah.
A lot of men just don't care. They just want to get off.
Yeah. So for those men, I've got this amazing idea for you guys. Just masturbate. Just masturbate.
I was once with a guy who faked having heart problems after he got off, so he could leave, so he didn't have to finish.
My God, why?
I don't know. Like, he went to the extent of pulling up, like, you know how we can check the wait times at the hospitals?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay, well, this hospital only has this long of a wait time. I'm like, whatever.
Well, joke's on him because, in the Niagara region, if you're having heart problems, you have to go to the St. Catharines Hospital. You don't get to choose.
Yeah.
And if you go to one of the other ones, they'll be like, no, you need to go to St. Catharines. And, like, if it's urgent, then, like, maybe they'll hook you up to an EEG that they have on site, but, like, you're supposed to go to St. Catharines if you have chest pain.
Yeah, I don't know. I also had a guy when we were talking, he faked his friend's death instead of saying, hey, I'm no longer interested.
So I don't think I've ever told you this, but the girlfriend that I had just before you, Anne, I think she might have done something similar to that with me, because the last time I saw her, she suddenly got a phone call from her friend who said her dad had just died.
Mm.
And like I drove her back there so she could console her, and like there were tears and everything, but that was the last I ever heard from her. It was just ghosting after that.
Mm.
So I'm wondering if that was supposed to, like, whether or not that was actually a real thing, or like, was it just a way to drive me away? Was it a test of some sort that I failed because she never contacted? Like, I don't know. It was weird.
Sucks to be her. I mean, not because her friend's dad died.
Oh, she was never going to be long term.
Yeah, but if you stayed with her long enough, you might have missed
Yeah,
me.
true.
Yeah, no, and I asked my friend about it. He's like, yeah, he's killed off his grandmother 2 or 3 times. Why? People are so scared to have tough conversations.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing that surprised me about Anne, because like I had the conversation with her, but it was like, I really don't like ghosting. I'm never gonna ghost you. I hope that you feel the same about me. So like, when you want to end, just text me. It's fine. I'm not gonna get like all mad and clingy, and like, we actually talked about that. And but then
Yeah,
she
I've
still
had
just
those
ghosted me.
I've had those conversations with men too. And
Yeah,
then,
men are stupid. So like, I'm not saying that she's a bad person for having done that.
yeah.
Because I get it. Some men are just too clingy or whatever.
Well, it's not even that they're clingy. It's that men will say those things because they know women want to hear it,
Yeah.
and then they ghost you. Like I had a full-on conversation with one guy about communication and how important it was, and blah 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 blah, and we went on like 2 dates or something, and then nothing. I'm like,
Good communicating, buddy.
yeah. Anyways, back to the chapter, which I have no idea where we are.
It's probably for the best in this one.
There's no, oh yeah, there's not. Yes, there are men that just care about themselves. Even more than your husband wants to have sex with you for his own sexual relief, the truth is he wants to please you even more than he wants to be pleased. It might seem like it's all about him, because it is.
Yeah, if it seems that way, it's because he is not being a considerate lover.
Yeah.
Which means that he doesn't actually care.
Yep. But what he really wants emotionally is to see how much you enjoy the pleasure he can give you. If it fails to do that, for any reason, he'll end up feeling inadequate, lonely, and unfulfilled.
Yeah, so if you don't have an orgasm, then that will make me feel bad, and that is your fault.
Mm-hmm. Most men want to be their wives' heroes. Excerpt. That whole...
Are we getting to it?
No, that, like, this whole thing.
That whole thing has a footnote?
Yeah,
Just
there's
copy
2
it
different
again?
ones. It was 2 different ones, but they're just, like, smashed together.
Yeah, no, she's
A
plagiarizing again.
husband is looking for fulfillment, not accommodation. Simply put, a husband is sexually fulfilled when his wife is fulfilled. Then do things that fulfill her.
Mm-hmm.
If he knows that she is not enjoying sex but only trying to placate him, he will not be fulfilled. Sex may happen. He may finish what was begun, but he will have unfinished business in his heart. He will feel like a consumer, not a lover. How many men does she talk to?
I don't know. But see, this is part of why waiting until marriage to have sex is kind of crazy. Because like, if like, sexual compatibility, obviously very important.
Mm-hmm.
She is making sure to point out that it's very important. So if you don't have sex before marriage, how do you know you're sexually compatible? Like, I'm not judging people who do want to, like, legitimately want to wait until marriage to have sex. Like, that is your choice. But I feel like you have a better chance of actually having a long-term relationship if you know that you're sexually compatible going in.
Mm-hmm. But also there's women who just can't orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like really challenging. So now you're making these women feel terrible because maybe they are in good relationships, but now it's like, oh, holy shit, I don't. So now my husband feels like
Yeah.
he
Like,
can't fulfill me.
I have a physiological problem that could be addressed if you, like, went to a doctor or therapy, or just spent more time in communication of that nature. But nope, it's all the woman's fault for not fulfilling the husband by being fulfilled.
Yeah. I want you and your husband to try an experiment. Find a piano bench and sit side by side before the ivory keys. Yes, everyone just has a piano. I mean, we happen to, but everyone just has a piano bench lying around their house.
To be fair, pianos are one of the easiest things to obtain for free because nobody wants to move them ever. So, like, if you're moving or like you move into a house, they had a piano, you don't want it anymore, just be like, it's free. Just come and pick it up. I don't want to move it.
Yeah, not going through all that trouble just for one of Sharon's experiments. But what I was thinking of, like a hotel lobby.
Yeah, lots of pianos there.
Once you get comfortable, place both hands on the keys and play a melodious duet. Because everyone fucking knows how to play the piano. Like, what the fuck?
Let's both play chopsticks.
I think I could do that one. I took piano for about 3 years. At the end of 3 years, I still couldn't play a song.
So I play piano in a very ADHD manner, in that I can play the first third of about 7 songs and nothing else. I can't play a single song all the way through.
Well, that's
not
more
like
than I
a
get.
complicated, like Ares theme from Final Fantasy VII. I can play the beginning to that.
I love how you were about to say not complicated, and I'm over here like Mary Had a Little Lamb, and you're like, yeah. Oh no, the beginning
like,
of
Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. That's a pretty difficult piece, and I can actually play fairly decently, like into some of the difficulty part. But I eventually, like, my hyperfocus left and never came back to it, so it's just stuck there.
Yeah, I still can't play Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Do 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 do. Do.
Shut up.
Do.
Complete with highs and lows, rises and falls, sharps and flats. Thank you for trying to be creative. Everybody's so creative. What you say that is ridiculous? You don't know how to play the piano? Yes, we said all that. Well, why not? You have finger.
I think she's trying to make an analogy. She's going to go for, oh, you don't know how to play the piano, you can learn. So this is her way of saying you can learn how to pleasure your wife.
Well, maybe.
Or, except this is a book for women, so it's going to be, you can learn how to be pleasured by your husband regardless of what he does.
Well, why not? You have fingers. The piano has keys. It should come naturally, shouldn't it?
I'm just picturing like someone that's like a double amputee reading this and being like, oh.
Those were all questions, so I think she is coming to some sort of analogy. Very few people are born with the natural ability to play a piano by ear. The vast majority have to study the art and spend hours of practice before they can run their fingers over the keys to produce a beautiful melody.
She's trying, like, I think she's trying to make it sound sexual.
Yeah, I don't know. Some learn enough just to play chopsticks, and others progress to Beethoven's Fifth.
Oh, so if that had been Moonlight Sonata, I would have almost started to believe in God.
Likewise, for most people, great sex does not come naturally. It takes practice and maybe even a little study.
There we go.
There are several great books on sex from a Christian perspective.
So this started off not as an analogy, but as an experiment, a thing that you're supposed to physically do. Go sit at the piano together and start playing together. Yeah. And instead of like explaining how that is supposed to help your sex life, it's now just transitioned into an analogy. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's not an experiment, that's an analogy. Sharon, you're bad at writing. That's why she copies so much.
I'm like, we know this. 3 of my favorite are Intimate Issues by Linda Dillow and Lorraine Pintus, Sheet Music by Dr. Kevin Lehman, and Intended for Pleasure by Dr. Ed Wheat.
I feel like I have, or used to have, Intended for Pleasure. That sounds familiar to me.
Now I want to read it.
It's going to be another one of the Christian books.
What about pornography?
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
I suggest you stay far away from pornography as possible. Videos and magazines.
Sometimes you can get ideas. Like, don't try and copy exactly what the porn actors and actresses are doing. But, like, if you explore different genres of porn, you can maybe learn some things about yourself. Like, ooh, that kind of tickles my fancy. Maybe we could try something similar.
Videos and magazines have cheapened and sullied what God created as a beautiful expression of love between a
No,
husband and wife.
It's sharing a beautiful expression of lust. You know, those porn actors probably don't love each other.
The easy access of pornography through the internet is a cancer ruining marriages all around the world.
Okay, well, there haven't been studies on this specifically. However, there is a very definite correlation with how easy to access the internet was and a decrease in violent sexual crime. So it's almost like if you provide people that have violent sexual tendencies with fantasy productions of people acting out those fantasies consensually, then they don't feel the need to go out and do that themselves. And also, with the internet, you can find partners who might be into consensually doing the same things. So making these things easily accessible and making it easy to find people who share these desires has been a net good for society.
I do not disagree. And I see the logic there.
Yeah. And it's like, and it can be stuff that like, there is perfectly consensual porn out there, like consensual non-consent. I cannot watch that. It is very disturbing to me. But there are people for whom they are into that. And I'd rather have people that are into non-consent stuff do it consensually than have trouble finding people with similar...
Yeah, no, I agree.
Predilections, I guess would be the word.
I agree. The easy access... Oh, wait. Ruining marriage. Your husband has a dream to be the great lover, and you are the chosen one to make that dream come true. In order to make that dream a reality, you may need to help him know what to do to bring you to a climax.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Sharon. Take his hands and move them to a place or places that please you. When something feels good, let him know. Mike's in the way. You'll not only be doing yourself a favor, you'll be doing him a favor as well. I agree.
I feel like
help
maybe...
a man out.
Did I accidentally like mislabel the chapters and the next one is the one that is going to get into the marital rape thing? Because we haven't gotten there yet. What's the next one called?
Get creative.
Okay, that's not going to be it.
Okay. Making love is much more than having sex. The purpose of the physical union is to love and be loved, to create a sense of oneness, to give yourself totally to your man. The goal is not to achieve orgasm. However, if a woman does not reach a climax, a majority of the time she enters into sexual relationship with her husband, she will be left feeling tense, frustrated, and dissatisfied.
Not always.
No. That's why we got vibrators.
Mm-hmm.
It is a myth that orgasm should come naturally for a woman, or that it is the man's total... Oh my gosh, she's so progressive.
Yeah, well, I mean, so without getting into too much detail, there have been several instances where I have had sex, not been able to reach orgasm, and it has still been perfectly fulfilling. Yeah. Like when I'm done, like when we finished, it was not like a, oh, I can't believe it. Like, no, it was fine. I enjoyed it. I was fulfilled.
Fine. It's supposed to be fucking amazing.
Well, it happened more with other people than it did with you, so I was not necessarily specifically thinking of the moments with you. So you want me to describe previous relationships, lovemaking as fucking amazing?
I don't care.
Okay. Because I mean, it was sometimes.
I don't doubt that it was. Or was it? I don't know. Whatever the word's supposed to be. Okay, wait, responsibility. Let's get back. Okay.
Sorry. Lana N says, apply the same logic to anything else because everyone has easy access to daffodils, flowers, and God's love for, or to daffodils and flowers. God's love for them is cheapened.
True story. Damn it.
Having easy access doesn't cheapen a thing necessarily.
Reaching a climax takes some effort on the wife's part as well. Very few women get a view from the top of the mountain without taking the effort to make the climb. Here are a few...
You know how you can get a view from something that's hard to see when you're in the middle of the act yourself?
Mirrors?
Yes, but also watching a video of someone else doing the same thing.
Or taping yourself and watching a video yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Bernard Martin, Dad. Here are a few interesting facts to keep in mind. A man usually needs about 2 to 3 minutes of stimulation to have an orgasm. A woman needs about 10 times that amount.
It varies.
Citation.
Also, like, like that's such a. I assume that when she says stimulation, she means like direct stimulation on the penis, because like there can be foreplay that doesn't necessarily make the man finish quicker, but that is still enjoyable to the man, and same for the woman. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think she's talking about direct.
Yeah.
Stimulation. A man's climax generally lasts from 10 to 13 seconds. A woman's lasts from 6 to 60 seconds.
And that's why coming at the same time is not a thing that you should aim for.
Also, insert other citation.
Like, she actually has citations?
Well, she has insert footnotes. The Latin word for clitoris means little key. Again, insert footnote. This whole paragraph is just someone else.
Yeah, no, this is basically the dictionary says for this chapter.
For the majority of women, stimulation of the clitoris is the key to experiencing orgasm.
Oh, does she ignore the G-spot?
Well, she didn't say all women. Many go back. Going back to our piano scenario, all the keys are there to make beautiful music. The wife may simply need to help her husband know how to play the instrument. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of women would if their men, I can't say men, but if their men were receptive to it. Okay, let's get some quotes here. I wish my wife understood my need to make time for intimacy a priority. Otherwise, she is a perfect wife. Alan.
That sounds like something that could be solved with therapy. See, we didn't jump to divorce for this one. Like, if everything is perfect, but your sex life isn't on point, you can probably make accommodations for that. Yeah. Within the relationship.
Yeah. Conversations, so a lot of these men say, I wish my wife understood. Have you the question is, have you actually communicated it? Or do you feel like she should just know? So it could just be as simple as communicating. The woman of my dreams is one who is interested in sexually pleasing her husband by finding out what turns him on and exploring their sexuality together. Okay, Eric. Our greatest struggle has been our sex life. I guess it has been more of my struggle than hers. For so long, I was reluctant to talk about it because I felt I was being selfish. But the struggle has led to temptations to the point where I actually went to her and told her that I was having thoughts I shouldn't have. She was not angry, but willing to change. Excuse me. However, change has not been easy.
So this is another moment where, like, if two partners have differing sex drives, where one wants sex a lot more than the other one, again, that is something that could potentially still be compatible, but like porn would be useful there. So like that could be fulfilling in the relationship with, like, I want sex a lot more than you, so I, like, when I want it and you don't, I will just relieve myself.
Relieve away.
Yeah.
Her innocence was rooted in some feelings that sex was dirty. Something wives had to do, not necessarily something they could enjoy. I think time is beginning to make things better, and I hope that our daughter will enjoy the same innocence but will take a different perspective about sex into her marriage. Will.
So I generally don't want to think about my kids' sex lives, aside from just, like, I want them to be happy and healthy. Aside from that, I need to know no details.
Give and take. Are you sure the right book? Oh, no, sorry. The next chapter is called The Right and Fright of Refusal.
Oh, so yeah, maybe I accidentally skipped past this chapter.
It's a short, this one's a short chapter. We can go straight into the next one.
Okay.
Give and take. Sexual intimacy is a give and take process. A woman who fulfills her wifely duties out of obligation does not produce a sexually fulfilled husband. That would be like a husband handing a wife a dozen roses on their anniversary and saying, I didn't really want to get you these roses. Seems like a waste of good money to me. But I read somewhere that I'm supposed to do something like that because
So,
it's our anniversary. Hope you enjoy them.
fun fact, I have made my disdain for like cut flowers clear in our relationship, and
Mhm.
I've still bought you cut flowers.
Yes, of
So
course.
we've basically had that interaction, but like not that condensed.
Yeah.
Where like you know that I think it's a waste of money, but I do it anyways because I know that you like it, and
Yes, I
even
do.
though I consider it to be wasteful, you like it. I'm like, I'm gonna do things that you like.
It brings beauty and joy to our house, if only temporary.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Oh, let me share one of the secret desires that the survey respondents mentioned. Men dream of having their wives initiate sex more often. They want you to take, take, take. Notice I said more often. Some of you are trying to remember if you've ever initiated sex, so imagine the joy in his face when you try it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too horny not to initiate sex.
So Amanda A says, "Oh my gosh, my husband said almost exactly that to me on our first Valentine's Day."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on like how it's contextualized. Like if it's, oh, this is a waste of money, so I don't really want to do it here, then like, yeah, that could go poorly. But it's like, yeah, I consider this to be a waste of money, but I care about you and you do not consider it to be a waste of money, so here you go. So that is me put like it's kind of a perfunctory way of doing it.
Yeah, but our conversation about that happened well before you even bought me flowers.
Yeah.
So the
So it
fact,
wasn't like, here's some flowers, I hated it.
yeah, and it wasn't also in our context, it wasn't for like a specific holiday, like Valentine's Day, like you feel obligated to
Well,
get something.
and also I actually, okay, now that I,
Ours was because I was having a bad day.
yeah. Um, but also now that I think back on when I did get you the flowers, um, I'm very like, it wasn't a waste of money because as it turned out, apparently I'm the first guy to ever have bought you flowers.
Yes.
And so that like meant a lot to you in more than just like, oh, pretty flowers. Or like it was more than just, oh, he's thinking of me when I had a bad day. It was actually like, this is the first guy who has ever actually been considerate enough to me to think that I might want this.
Yep.
And yeah, so like technically, yes, waste of money, they die in a week. But like,
You can't put a price
you,
on joy and
yes,
happiness.
I can. It's $1 million. Give me $1 million, I will be forever joyful and happy.
Some of you are trying, oh, we already did that. But what will he think of me? Will he think I'm a woman sex crazed?
I, she says that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I know. He might hope that's what you are, but he won't think that. He might be utterly confused at your sudden desire, but one message will come across loud and clear. She wants me. She wants me. You know what he'll feel? He will feel as though his dreams have come true. I'm a dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
What?
Well, it's just a flaw in the
Oh,
glazing process. It happens.
well, that's okay. I accidentally bought two, so there's another one.
I'm not suggesting that a man wants his wife to initiate sex all the time. That isn't the natural order of things. Also because the woman wants the man to initiate sex.
But what does she mean, natural order of things? Does she mean it's like, oh, men are more sexual, so they will automatically be the ones initiating more often?
Let's see what she says. God created man to be the aggressor and the woman to be the recipient. Even our sex organs are crafted this way. Men are hunters and women are gatherers. It's not true. Was it you that told me that that wasn't true?
Yes. Yeah, fairly recent study that it's difficult to figure out because, like, despite what the anti-trans people will tell you, it's actually very difficult to figure out whether a skeleton from a human is male or female. And like there are certain indications that it is either male or female, but like human beings are on a spectrum. Like some women have narrower, hips and pelvis, and some men have wider ones. So it varies. So what archaeologists have typically done is they've just kind of imposed our modern idea about hunter-gatherer societies onto archaeological finds. So like if a skeleton is found with a bunch of weapons, be like, this was a man. And if it was found with a bunch of like domestic stuff, this was a woman. But anthropologists wanted to like they started looking into the actual evidence for men being the hunters and women being the gatherers, and they found that it was incredibly sparse. Like almost all of it was in this like loose association sort of thing, and quite a number of them were like, well, the skeleton on first examination appeared to be female, but it was buried with a bunch of weapons, so it must have been a guy. So it turned out that the like the evidence supporting men are the hunters, women are the gatherers was very flimsy. So they went to study some cultures that have very limited contact with the modern world that are modern day hunter-gatherer societies. And but they didn't just like go as outside observers. They actually like integrated themselves into the culture, because like as outside observers, you're not going to see everything. But if you like live and breathe their culture for several months, then they take you in and like actually show you how they really do things. And it turned out that women shared in the hunting almost like it was about half and half, and men would stay home and gather about half and half. So like it almost like, and there's no reason to think that this isn't how the ancient societies would have also been.
Which makes sense.
So there's no real reason to think that men are the hunters and women are the gatherers.
Yeah. No, which makes sense.
And like, also, like, the imagery she's using is a bit ridiculous. Like, like men are the, like, comparing it to the anatomy. It's like, I am spearing you with my spear.
But like, even some tribes in Africa, you can look at their matriarchs. And they do most of, you know.
Yeah, there are still tribes around that the women are the ones that do most of the hunting.
Yeah.
That's not the norm. It is the norm that the men do a little bit more.
But to say that
it's almost
men
equal.
are hunters and women are gatherers, when we can clearly see within different cultures and traditions that it really depends on a lot of things.
Yeah, and it's just kind of it's kind of idiotic to assume that all the men would have been the hunters when, like, we look at the skill set of modern men. There's, yeah, sure, there are the big strong guys that might have been the ones that were good at going out and doing the hunting, but then there's the people like me who are like, I don't want to go hunt an animal. I'll farm the garden, but like I don't want to go like chasing deer down. Like, why would I bother with that?
Yeah.
So like, why would we assume that ancient people didn't have the same diversity of opinions, skills, preferences?
But also, when you talk about skills, though, there's some things that a smaller person would be better at,
like
whether it's a man
running?
or woman. Long distance running, climbing trees.
Yeah.
So you do what your strengths are.
Yeah, and like long distance running. I forget where I read this, so this might be incorrect, but I recall reading that humans are actually the best animal on the planet when it comes to long distance running. So like if we're chasing down a horse, we can catch the horse because the horse runs fast and gets tired. We just track it and keep on its trail, and then it gets tired out and we catch up to it.
Yeah.
And same thing, like that's how ancient humans hunted. It was a long distance game of tracking.
Yeah. And
so smaller people might have had an advantage over the big, strong, muscular men because they could be more stealthy. They wouldn't tire out quite as quickly because they don't have to carry all their body weight around.
Yeah. So many factors to consider.
Yeah. But no, that God made male to be the hunter and female to be the gatherer. So that's how it works in sex too.
Of course.
You gather my semen.
But I can promise you that every man likes to feel hunted and captured by the woman of his dreams. But that goes against the natural order of things, Sharon. You're now telling me to go against the natural order? What do I do?
You buy some of that nice smooth nylon rope and capture me.
Okay. First of all, you don't start that sentence like that.
What'd you think I was going to say?
With someone who has depression.
Oh. That is not what I meant. I'm sorry.
It's like one of those TikToks. Nope, this isn't for you. Keep going, keep scrolling. Anyways, our greatest struggle has been in the area of sexual communication and understanding. The difference in the importance is it is for us individually and as a couple. We have had to learn to make time to be vulnerable and to seek each other's needs before our own. We have had to learn each other's love language and make adjustments to help meet the other's expectations and need. The hardest problem is for my wife to understand that my desire for sexual expression is to give and express myself to her. Bill.
So, to rephrase that last sentence, the hardest problem is when the problem is hard.
I don't know, I kind of like Bill here. They communicate, they work on each other's needs. Like, yeah, I like you, Bill. I wish my wife would be more responsive to my sexual advances and more aggressive in her own advance.
I mean,
Dave.
learn what gets her to be responsive.
Okay, so.
But also be mindful of the fact that sometimes it's just not a good time.
True story. This is like years ago. Two guys I was dating, not at the same time, just like concurrently, but just so happened that it happened with both of them. Well, actually, it might have happened with my ex-husband as well. Anyways, I was very specific. I'm like, if you kiss me right here, I will do anything you want. Never once. None of them.
See, and I already figured out all by myself that if I tweak the nipples in a certain way, I can basically guarantee that I get what I want.
No, I am still in charge.
Not saying you're not. Just saying I can kind of manipulate the flow a little bit.
You try to manipulate me?
Not in any way that you don't want to be manipulated.
That isn't manipulation.
It's like consensual non-consent.
I wish my wife would be more... Oh, I already read that one. Women must undertake... Yes, we do undertake everything. Women must understand that men show love by making love. That's not the only way.
I also, like, rub your back every time I walk behind you. And, like, play with your hair.
I like when you rub my back.
Spend time with you.
Yeah. I should probably reciprocate, but...
You do.
I'm joking. I know I do. Fuck. I'm fucking amazing, okay? Sexual fulfillment is not a dirty activity done out of duty.
Bragwin says, be very quiet. I'm hunting a turnip.
Are we going to go on to the next chapter?
It's only 10 to 3. Yeah, we can...
Power through it. Power.
I titled this one as if this was the chapter we were doing, so we may as well do it and get it over with.
Yeah, but then they have to come back next week to hear about it.
No, next week's going to be another fun episode.
The right and fright of refusal. In the books of Proverbs, King Solomon tells his son the joys of having sexual relations with the same woman for his entire life.
Okay. King Solomon, really? She's going to pick the guy who is famous for having, I always get them backwards, whether it's 700 wives and 300 concubines or 700 concubines and 300 wives, but like the man who was known for having at least 1,000 women to sleep with on a whim was telling his son about the joys of only doing it with one woman for your entire life. I'm sorry. I'm calling bullshit on that. Of course, like the Book of Proverbs was not actually authored by Solomon. That's just a common attribution. Actually, I think Solomon might be one of those figures that it's doubtful whether or not even existed. But
I was just thinking of being one of the 1,000 women in this man's life. And I'm like, there's so many of us that if I just avoid him, I would never have to sleep with him. And I could enjoy the pleasures of living in the palace.
So there's my theory about this is that if you read the Bible and what it says about homosexuality, now I'm not going to get into the whether or not the words translated as homosexual or whatever actually refer to like pederasty versus just general homosexual relationships, just assuming it's general homosexual relationships. In the Old Testament, never once does it say anything about female homosexual relationships.
I know, and I would have so many.
It doesn't say that. yeah, as one of Solomon's concubines or whatever. Yeah, they're all right there. But that's my theory, is that like if you're in a group sex scenario with one guy and a bunch of women, if the bunch of women aren't allowed to do things with each other, it's not really going to be all that
We
enhancing
just
for the
sit
guy.
and wait in line.
Yeah, no. So as the guy in that situation, it's fun to look at the women doing that sort of thing. Like I could see how that could be desirable.
Mhm.
So they didn't outlaw it. It wasn't until the New Testament, when polygamy was already falling out of favor among the like the
The rich people.
yeah, realistically, it was only ever the rich people that got to do it anyway. But yeah, like when polygamy was starting to be frowned upon in Jewish society, that's when they started writing scriptures saying that women also can't get in these relationships.
Well, it's not
And
a relationship if it's just sex.
And again, in the New Testament, it's like it's a word that doesn't necessarily mean homosexuality, but like the implication is definitely there with the whole they gave up what was natural for what was unnatural with each other sort of thing.
It's unnatural to keep 1,000 women captive for your pleasure. Hello.
Yeah. Also, like humans are a part of nature, so technically anything we do is still kind of natural.
Okay. Drink water from your own cistern and running water from your own well. Should your fountain be dispersed aboard?
So
What?
to take this into extra gross territory, we're talking about sex, and she says drink water from your own cistern. Does that mean guys are supposed to drink their own cum?
No, that's Proverbs.
Yeah, I know, but she's likening it to sex. Like this is what she's saying is supposed to be sex with one person for your whole life.
One woman.
Yeah.
So she's
But
saying that.
But she's saying to drink from your own cistern when talking about sex stuff.
Yeah.
So to me, that's like drink your cum.
Yeah, no, I know. No, it's drink from your own well. I am the well.
I like my translation better. Make a sticker.
I haven't done that in a while. Anyways. Let me be only your own and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of your youth. As a loving deer and a graceful doe, let her breast satisfy you at all times, and always be enraptured with her love. Proverbs 5:15 through 9.
Proverbs 5:15 through 9. Don't ignore them titties.
True. That's great advice, but if the man goes to the well and the well is dry, he might be tempted to dip his cup elsewhere to quench his thirst.
Yeah.
It said nothing about that.
Yeah, no. And also, like, okay, insert joke about Ben Shapiro's wife here. She said a dry vagina is a sign of disease.
Mm-hmm.
So if the vagina is the well, we're talking about moisture in it.
Okay, wait. So,
like,
hold on. Sticking a pin in that thought. She said that a dry vagina is
sign of a disease. No, wet vagina is a sign of a disease.
okay, because I was like, but then he doesn't have sex with her when she has a wet vagina, so he just never gets to have sex with her.
Realistically, probably. Yeah, but no, like this is what we were talking about earlier, where like if there are two people in a relationship where everything's great except one of them has a higher sex drive than the other, that's why masturbation and porn can help with that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So like the well is dry, go elsewhere. Yeah, go elsewhere. Like porn. It doesn't have to be elsewhere with another woman.
Yeah.
But even then, if you are polyamorous, then that could be perfect. That like polyamory could be a way that people with differing sex drives deal with the fact that they have different sex drives.
Yeah. But she's creating an argument that's not there. If the man goes to the well and the well is dry, he might be tempted to dip his cup elsewhere. But nowhere in this passage did it give the man permission to do that. It said
well, it's also supposedly written by the guy who had 700 there's 1,000 women that he was sleeping with, so like
what did it say?
It's not like he is against dipping his cup elsewhere.
Yeah, let them be only your own and not for a stranger with you.
Yeah,
let
so
your fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of your youth.
Yeah, so basically that's saying she has to be only with you.
Yeah.
It's not saying anything about him.
Yeah, but if they're oh no, they're saying okay, you're saying see, you can't use this man because if we're assuming that he had one wife, um, he's specifically saying only be with one woman. But, which is what I think she's interpreting it as.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's had 700 wives and then it goes your way, as in she must, but he doesn't have to.
Yeah, well, and that's supported by like other passages in the Old Testament where adultery is defined by the Bible as only something that a woman can do. A woman commits adultery, not a man. This is because adultery is when a married woman has sex with someone who's not her husband.
Mm-hmm.
But like, men can have multiple wives. There's a story of like what a patriarch of a family wasn't. I think this is the end of the Onan story, actually. The Onan thing is the verse that Christians use to say don't masturbate because he was struck dead because he spilled his seed on the ground. But what they leave out is that he was, in the culture at the time, the tradition was that if your brother got married and then died before having kids, it was then your duty to impregnate his widow.
Mm-hmm.
And then those kids would be considered your brother's kids so that they could carry on his legacy or whatever. And so Onan was struck dead not because he masturbated, but because he had sex with his brother's widow, but didn't want to impregnate her because he didn't want to give her children that wouldn't technically be his. So he pulled out before she got pregnant, and then God struck him dead because God wants you to impregnate your brother's widow. But then that story...
That's so kinky.
But that story culminated, like, she went through like a number of men who refused to do that with her, and then it eventually got to like she was living in her dead husband's father's house and he would not impregnate her either, so she went and dressed up as like a prostitute and tricked him into sleeping with her as he was like traveling somewhere, and then like he didn't have money to pay, so he gave her his staff and seal, and then she came back and was like, I'm pregnant, here's the staff and seal proving that it's your kid. And it was determined in that story that she was the one who acted righteously. So like, and like he didn't do anything wrong by sleeping with a prostitute in that story.
And trick men into sleeping with me, and then giving me things.
Well, but like like the prostitution aspect of that story was never condemned. It was like, that's just a thing that like you can just expect that when a man is traveling, he's going to make use of prostitutes. That was just the expectation. So adultery was when a woman cheated on a man. And like it carries into the New Testament too. Like think of the story of Jesus and the woman caught in adultery. The woman was caught in adultery. What happened to the man? It takes two to adulter.
Well, not necessarily.
How can you commit adultery without another person?
No. So the married person can commit adultery.
Oh, yeah, but okay, but so in today's modern society, I would like if an unmarried man sleeps with a married woman and that was like not part of a polyamorous or open marriage sort of situation, like that's actually like cheating scenario. I would say that both the man and the woman are in the wrong there.
Right. But should the man be married and the woman not know he's married, she is not an adulterer. She's not like the other party is not an adulterer until they know that.
Okay, fair point. But still, the man gets off scot-free.
Yes, I agree, always.
And the woman is brought before Jesus and said, hey, can we stone her?
Let's go back to Dr. Lehman's quote on page 228. Oh, so she wants to put it in again.
She's quoting a quote that she already quoted. Methinks she does quoth too much. I don't know.
If you make it your mission to have a husband who is sexually fulfilled, instead of resenting requests to stop by the store or take a look at a leaky faucet, a sexually fulfilled man will jump with eagerness. Instead of being cold and distant when you talk to him, he's going to want to hear what you have to say.
That's why I haven't changed the light fixture in the bedroom, because you haven't sucked my dick enough.
Well, I ain't gonna suck it if it doesn't get changed.
It's hard to focus on sucking the dick when there's a strobe light going on.
I know, it's actually starting to like hurt my head now.
No, we haven't even turned it on. Yeah, just for context, the light fixture in our room, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought it last time, but like I bought one of the light fixtures that is just like built-in LEDs and you can't just change a bulb. And I think it was probably just under the idea that like, oh, it's LED, so it's going to last forever, so this will probably outlast how long I own the house for. But when an LED bulb dies, it doesn't just like stop working like an incandescent bulb. It just starts strobing and flashing and being annoying.
It fucking sucks.
And so yeah, that's our light fixture in our bedroom right now. And I fucking hate changing light fixtures. It's the worst.
No, too bad.
I know.
You're the man, and it's your job.
Well, that's not why it's my job. It's my job because I'm the one that knows how to do it.
No, it's because you're the man that you know how to do it. Therefore, you should do it.
The penis has imparted knowledge into my brain about light fixtures.
Oh. Some wives reading... Oh, Dr. Lehman goes on to say, now she's adding a new quote to Dr. Lehman's.
So that was the introductory to what she's going to continue with. Okay.
Some wives reading this may be thinking, I tried that and it didn't work. Such response shows me that you're misunderstanding me entirely. You can't just try this. It has to become a way of life. I have to become a sex slave.
Mm-hmm.
One good time of sex will make a man thankful for a while. But if he's turned down the next 5 times, he approaches you, he'll think about the 5 rejections, not the one special night. Oh, didn't mean that much.
Not necessarily. Like, it depends on the manner of the rejection.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You've never rejected me in a way that makes me feel rejected.
Yeah, but that usually only happens when people aren't getting along.
Yeah.
Or someone's angry at someone for not changing the light fixture.
Well,
change the light fixture, I would suck your dick.
Okay. We have her on record now. If I change the light fixture, she has to suck my dick. You guys all heard her.
Because of a man's chemical makeup, sex feels like a need to most of us. And when a woman...
What? No. Because of a man's chemical makeup, sex feels like a need?
Came from a doctor.
Like, in a sense, that's true, but it's in the same sense that it's a need for women. Because, like, that's, like, evolutionarily speaking, that is the goal of life.
Rewired to reproduce.
Yeah. Like, that's
Therefore,
the goal of life.
sex feel good.
But, but to be that reductionist about the whole human experience is just, it boggles the mind.
Damn it. Dr. Lehman. Okay. I want you to look up Dr. Lehman because I want to know what he's a doctor of.
What's the full name?
Kevin Lehman. He wrote the book Sheet Music.
He's a psychologist. He also wrote the book Birth Order. No, I don't want the Google Books for him. I want the Wikipedia page. Is there not a wiki for him? Oh, the first result, that's not birthorderguy.com, which is his website, because he wrote the Birth Order book. The first website that's not his own website is Focus on the Family. That doesn't bode well. Lehman Academy of Excellence. Okay, no, this is SEO manipulation. He doesn't want you to find out who he is. There's no reason for him to have that many things. He doesn't have his own wiki page, but the Birth Order book, Why You Are the Way You Are, is a 1982 nonfiction book by Christian psychologist Kevin Lehman on birth order and its potential influence on personality and development. If he pioneered that, then that explains why it was later found to be mostly bullshit. Yeah, Baker Publishing Group. First learned about birth order while a student at the University of Arizona. So he didn't pioneer it, he just learned about it then. Yeah, mixed. Okay, let me go back to the Google books.
Okay, anyways. It all goes back to the reason why we want to become the woman of his dreams. Is it to give or to get? Oh, believe me, when you give in this area of his life, you will indeed reap many wonderful benefits. However, if we are giving in this area only to get, he will be able to tell, and so will God. Apparently, faking orgasms angers God. Apparently, doing your wifely duty angers God.
Apparently.
In the Bible, we are warned that wrong motives will leave us empty. James 4:3.
Yeah, but we're also told to just, like, okay, I guess wrong motives leave us empty, but then you get people arguing for Pascal's wager, where you, like, the idea is, like, if I am an atheist and I'm wrong, then when I die, whatever, nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, if I'm an atheist and I'm wrong, when I die, I go to hell.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a Christian and I'm wrong when I die, that just means I don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So logically, you should be a Christian just so you can play the odds, because then, like, it doesn't matter. And they completely ignore the fact that being a Christian has a impact on your quality of life. So, like, if you take advice from a book like this, you might have a worse life than if you take good advice.
But doesn't the Bible actually say you actually have to believe?
The Bible says that you do believe. You just suppress that belief because you want to sin, which is completely asinine. But they have to explain how people can have.
But by that logic, other religions can claim the same thing.
Yeah. But
so which religion do you choose? Do you choose them all?
You choose the right one, which is Christianity, because God told me so. No,
or do you choose none?
That's how they have to contend with the fact that they promise several times in the Bible, and preachers will back me up on this, that if you sincerely seek God, you will have a personal experience with him. But there are people that have sincerely sought God, had personal experiences with him, and then deconverted. I happen to know this because I'm one of these people.
What was your experience with God? What'd you guys do? Did he tickle you?
Show me on the doll where God touched you.
Here.
Jesus came inside me. But yeah, but they have to explain how these people can exist and deconvert, because if you actually had a real experience with the almighty God of the universe, you don't deconvert from the religion of that God. So the fact that there were people that said they had these experiences and then deconverted, that has to be accounted for somehow. It was like, oh, well, it must just be that they want to sin. But that's completely asinine, because, like, if I just wanted to sin, I would be a Christian, because then you can do all the sins you want, and just before you die, be like, God, forgive me. Mm-hmm. And as long as you're sincere when you say, God, forgive me, you get into heaven, and you got to live your whole life of sin.
I've had personal experiences with the universe. We talk all the time. So I'm right. Everyone else is wrong.
Okay.
When a wife refuses her husband sexually, she shouldn't be surprised when he refuses her practically. Fixing a leaky faucet, or running to the store, or changing a light fixture.
Yeah, but no, but this is insidious as fuck.
Yeah.
Because it's basically telling women that if your guy isn't helping out around the house, if he's not pulling his weight, it's your fault for not having sex with him.
Everything's our fault.
And
it's our fault that our baby's a girl and not a boy, because, women determine that factor.
Nobody determines it. It's basically a coin flip.
No, women. It's all the women's fault.
And to use the analogy that H-Bomber guy uses, because when Bill Nye Saves the World came out, a bunch of people that were, like, anti-trans flipped their shit, because he had a whole episode where he explained how sex and gender aren't necessarily the same thing. And
could it cater to younger children?
They could. I mean, there's a whole song about a woman singing about her vagina, so, like, maybe not your younger children, because they would absolutely latch onto that and start singing it at school.
They would. I mean, what's the difference between them singing about that or their penises? I don't know.
Well, whatever. But they started freaking out because, like, he acknowledged that trans people exist and that it's fine, and that sex and gender are not the same thing. And to count it, they would, like, bring up, it'd be like, oh, well, Bill Nye in the 90s said that sex is just determined by your chromosomes. And but, like, in the context of that episode, it was an episode on probability. It wasn't even an episode on sex. So they were just explaining probability and how you calculate probabilities. And this was like, the sex of your baby is determined by a coin flip, essentially. Mm-hmm. And so the analogy that H-Bomber guy used when he did his video on this is that, like, it's a kids show on probability. They're not going to go into the fact that like, yeah, it's a coin flip, but it's not exactly 50-50, because in most areas of the world you are like, it's like you're 50.6% likely to be born male and 49.4% likely to be born female. So it's like a coin flip where one side of the coin is slightly weighted. Oh yeah, and also there's a very rare but actual possibility that the coin's just going to land on its side and you're going to have an intersex kid. And that's just like, that's too great a level of detail for what they were talking about in that episode.
Right.
And I forget why I started on this tangent, so I'm just gonna end it there. It's a good video. Go watch it. H-Bomber Guy's great.
When she withholds sex as a weapon for manipulation, it will be boomeranging and come back to her, aimed directly at her heart.
Yeah, but here he's advocating that she use the provision of sex as a weapon. Like, I had sex with you, now go fix the leaky faucet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if the guy, okay, women can fix leaky faucets too, but if it's a gender norm kind of relationship where the guy does the household stuff like that and he is capable of fixing a leaky faucet, then he should fix the leaky faucet because he doesn't want to pay a higher water bill from having a leaky faucet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sex shouldn't even come into that.
Yeah. No.
I should change the light fixture because I'm tired of having a strobe light in my room.
Yes. Hurts my head.
Yeah. So like, I'm not going to make you suck my dick for me changing the light fixture. I'm just going to change the light fixture.
Thank you. But like, so in the previous Bible verses, commentary, whatever, you have on one hand her claiming that God said that you must not have ill motives. So you shouldn't be having sex if you don't want it. You have to really want it to have sex.
And now they're saying that you should have sex even if you don't want it in order to get your husband to do other stuff.
There's that, but also God says to abide by your husband or whatever it is.
I'm sure we'll get to that Bible verse where the woman's body is not her own, nor is the male's his own, so they should not deprive each other except by mutual agreement.
What?
I'm sure we'll get there.
But anyways, my point being, damn it, I forgot what my point was.
That's okay. I did
it's
that
like, okay, so I'm supposed to abide by my husband who says, or be subservient to your husband, whatever the Bible fucking says about that stupid shit. I must do as he says.
Mm-hmm.
And if he says, you must have sex with me, but I don't want to have sex, therefore I have ill motives, like, we're just always wrong.
So you're saying the Bible has contradictions?
Never. I would never say that. Never, ever. Proverbs 13:12 tells us that hope deferred makes the heart sick. We've all seen it. Your husband comes slinking into the bathroom as you're washing your face before bed. He has that sheepish grin that you know so well, slides his hand around your waist and says, "You tired?"
No, that's not what I do.
No, that's, yeah.
I would never initiate sex by asking if you're tired, because I know the answer to that question is always going to be yes.
That is true. That is true. I am always tired. The next look you see in the mirror from that man standing behind you, that is hope deferred personified. If his advances are dashed enough times, hope deferred becomes hope destroyed. Let's look at what the Bible has to say about our right to refusal for both the husband and the wife.
Yeah, here it comes.
Damn it. How's the mic in the way today? I don't understand what's going on. The husband should fulfill his marital duties to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife's body does not belong to her alone, but also to her husband. In the same way, the husband's body does not belong to him alone, but also to his wife. Do not deprive each other except by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. Then come together again so that Satan will not tempt you because your lack of self-control.
Yeah, so that Bible verse is literally saying that you never are allowed to say no unless you both agree to the no, and it has to explicitly be for prayer. So like, I have a headache? No, not a valid reason. That's not prayer. That's disgusting.
That is disgusting. but my brain is thinking of something, but it can't, hasn't connected it yet.
The wheels are turning, but they haven't turned out anything yet.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to come back to that. If ever there was a politically incorrect statement, this is one of them. The wife's body does not belong to her alone.
Yeah, it's not about political correctness. It's about bodily autonomy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, the wife's body does belong to her.
Yeah. Autonomy. Remind me.
This is
no.
Well, this is also the line of reasoning that's like, even among the very rare Christians who are, well, no, they're not very rare. They're just the loud ones are
loud.
But the pro-abortion Christians, a lot of them are of the opinion that, like in a marriage situation where an abortion might, that the man should have an equal say in whether or not it's aborted. And like, that's actually something that I struggled with. Like, if there was an accidental pregnancy, like, I don't want any more kids.
Accidental, like, or on purpose?
Well, I've been snipped, so it would be accidental if it was. But like, yeah, no, if you got pregnant, I would very much want there to be an abortion. But I also very much do not feel like it is my right to pressure you into that. So like, how far am I allowed to take that? Like, as far as I'm concerned, I would, like, we'd sit down, we'd have that discussion. I would make my, like, I would tell you that that's how I feel, but ultimately it is your body. So it is your decision. I don't get to force you into it.
Right. Yeah. No. And I 100% agree. The ultimate decision is, mine or the woman's. And in the case of people who are happily together, I feel that decision should be made through conversation.
Yeah.
And not just, this is my decision.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do this.
Like, in a relationship like this, it's not that I don't have any say.
Yeah.
It's just that final say is with you.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. At minimum, I do feel personally that the men should at least deserve the conversation.
Yeah.
But there are instances.
That's in a good, healthy relationship where everybody's happy.
And there's other instances where, like, men keep their women pregnant to keep them under control.
Yeah.
So, no, in that instance, it would be her complete and utter decision. It's a one-night stand.
Yeah, if it's a one-night stand, why should that guy have any say in anything? You think he's going to stick around and care for the baby? No.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're going to have a one-night stand and you're going to lose your seeds, and you want kids and you don't care who it comes from, then maybe be like, hey, I left my seeds. Give me a call should you get pregnant and we'll have a conversation.
That would be such a weird interaction.
But chances are, like you said, for a one-night stand, you're not like...
Yeah, I'm not going to put my body through that for the sake of you having a kid when I didn't know you.
So, anyways.
Consent to sex is not consent to pregnancy is the official stance of this show.
Yes. The mantra of the pro-abortion movement has been, it's a woman's body and she has the right to do with it as she pleases. Yep. But Paul is saying it is not our body to do with as we please.
Yeah, well, Paul's wrong.
Stupid Paul. Saying I do at the altar means we are committing to say I will in the bedroom.
Yeah, that's the marital rape bit, where I do is blanket consent for the rest of your life with that person. No, that's not how it works.
No, but even in that, she actually outlines in her I do's, I will love you and honor you and cherish you. None of that means I have to have sex with you when I don't want to.
Imagine if she put that in her marital vows. I will love you, honor you, cherish you, suck your dick whenever you want.
Actually, I was thinking the other one, putting in the vows, I have bodily autonomy. Okay.
No, that would be part of my vows, where I respect your bodily autonomy.
No, but what I'm saying as a woman, if you add that caveat in, The Christians, like, if you're a Christian, you have that caveat, and the Christians can't argue that you must submit. No, no, it was in our contract.
It was in our vows.
It was in our vows. Proverbs 31:12 tells us that the wife of a noble character does her husband, sorry, good, not harm, all the days of her life.
Yeah, that's also the one that has the woman that is surprisingly empowered for the age when that book was written, where she has her own job, she owns land, she goes to the market and trades shit. And...
Yeah. When we deny our husband sexually, we are, in a sense, leading him into temptation.
No, you're not. It's not your job to make sure the man is not tempted by other women.
Yeah, no, I can't control someone else's behavior. Paul tells us right there in 1 Corinthians 7 that when we deny our man, we are tempting him to look elsewhere. We are opening the door to Satan, and he is all too ready to pounce right in and devour.
So Satan will have butt sex with me?
No, she's talking to women. Satan will have butt sex with me.
No. This is the Satan's pouncing on the man. So if you don't fulfill your husband sexually, then Satan will go in and have a gay relationship with the man.
Hold on.
That will fulfill him more. Imagine doing the devil's triangle with the actual devil.
What's the devil's triangle?
It's a threesome thing. I don't remember exactly. I just know it's a term, and I thought that would be funny. And I figured
I don't know about you, but the thought brings terror to my heart. That is the fright of refusal.
Oh, maybe.
Could I actually be tempting my husband to sin by denying him sexually? No. He makes choices.
Oh, it's just... Devil's Triangle is literally just a threesome with two men and one woman. So, Devil's Triangle with the actual devil is just a threesome with the devil. Although Urban Dictionary is emphasizing it is important to remember that straight men do not make eye contact while in the act. Doing so will question their sexuality. Because straight men are like the most fragile creatures on the planet.
They are. That's hilarious. You're having sex, trying to enjoy yourself, but you have to like make sure you keep your eyes averted. Like, anyways. She's sad because she might cause her husband to sin. Could I actually? No, you can't be. He makes his own choices.
Yeah, you don't cause other people to sin.
No.
And that includes that includes like dressing sexy. Like in the Bible, it says that like a woman who causes a man to stumble, it would have been better for her had she never been born. But like, you don't.
Somewhere else it just says human beings are just better off not been born.
Yeah, that's true.
So...
that's in Ecclesiastes. Yeah. Yeah, but like, if I look at a woman, that's not her fault. It was my eyes. It was my brain that made the decision to do that looking. Doesn't matter what she's wearing. Like, yes, there are some clothing choices that will make me more prone to looking, but that is still on me. I could, if I wanted to, decide not to look. And also on top of that, because humans are just a weird and diverse species, it doesn't matter what you wear if some guy's going to look at it. Like, I'm sure there's...
I was just going to do that point.
Yeah, I'm sure there's burqa porn out there.
Damn it. Yes, if we are not meeting our husband's needs, we are asking for trouble. This type of action, or should I say, lack of action on our part, will cloud his thinking, discourage his manhood, and encourage him to look elsewhere.
Then he's a fucking weak piece of shit.
By our willingness to fulfill our husband's sexually, we can make him feel like the luckiest man on earth. On the other hand,
no, you know what? It's not the sex that makes me feel like the luckiest man on earth. It's the rest of the relationship. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Yeah. Like, sex is an aspect of that.
Yeah.
But, like, it's the whole relationship. It's not the sex part.
Yeah. No, I like, at this point of the book, I just don't even know what to say. Like, she's just stupid. Like, it just... No. Ah, damn it. You didn't even let me finish the sentence.
Sorry.
On the other hand, by our constant rejection of his advance, we'll make him feel defeated and deflated. We have a choice as to how we will make him feel elated or emasculated,
Yeah, but
blessed or cursed,
as I said
top
earlier,
dog or
how
underdog.
the method of rejection is like you can reject my advances in a way that do not make me feel deflated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, part of that is on me because I actually respect you. So like, if you're not in the mood,
shame on you.
like I don't want you to have sex with me when you don't want to have sex with me. So when you reject me for any reason, it's just like, okay, because that's not what I want. Because going back to the previous chapter, I like it when you like it.
That is true.
So if you don't like it, I'm not going to like it. Although there's a community for that as well. Like, are you familiar with free use?
No, but let me talk.
No.
So with that one, damn it, what did you say?
Free use?
No, before that, what was your analogy?
I like it when you like it.
Oh yes, and you wouldn't like it if I don't like it.
Yeah.
But technically, in the moment, you would like it because you were thinking that I liked it until I told you I didn't like it. So you will like it up to the point until you know that I don't like it.
Well, that's only if you're faking. It's like if you're not faking, if you're not pretending to like it when you don't like it.
That's why I said up until the point that you know that I don't like it. So that,
I mean, you're either a brilliant actor and I've never been able to know, or you are just a very responsive person who, like, I can figure out things that you like just from how your body responds.
So response can have something to do with it, but also people's bodies will respond regardless of how they feel sometimes. True. So that's not really an accurate. But I wasn't specifically saying to you. Damn it, what were we saying?
Liking it when you like it?
Yes, I'm saying that up until the point that should I give in to you, to your desires, you will not know that you don't like it until the moment of knowing that I don't like it.
Okay.
That could be at the beginning, could be at the middle, could be at the end. But until you realize that I don't like it, you will still be receiving enjoyment from it, which really has nothing to fucking do with this book at all.
That was a long tangent to say something that has zero relevance.
The word, did I do that? Paul wrote to the Corinthians that husbands and wives have a duty to fulfill each other sexually. The word duty.
Yeah, duty. I like how you looked at me knowing that I was going to.
Well, you didn't say it for the first one. Implies that sexual fulfillment is an unpleasant task that a spouse must perform whether he or she wants to or not.
So Mark Smith just checked. Yes, there is burqa corn or porn. He broke corn to get around the automatic things. But yeah, so literally doesn't matter what a woman wears, someone's going to look.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The word duty implies that sexual fulfillment is an unpleasant task that a spouse must perform whether he or she wants to or not. However, in the original Greek, duty is more of paying a debt that is owed. It is not a...
How does that make it less of an onerous thing that you don't want to do? Like, I'd prefer not to pay my credit card back, but that's not how the world works, so I gotta pay my credit card back.
Yup. Damn it. Oh, duty is more of paying a debt that is owed. It is not an unpleasant task, but a privilege. You are privileged to pay your credit card bill. You are privileged to have me as a partner to run up your credit card bill so that you can pay it.
Every time I hit the pay bill button on my banking app, I feel like I had an orgasm.
Oh, When some people tithe, they see it as a burden that must be fulfilled. Yes, because they can't afford food on their
Oh, she's talking
table.
about tithing now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so fun fact, in my video that's coming out tomorrow, it's on slavery. And one of the things that I found out, I think I told you about
Okay,
this earlier.
sorry, I was so confused for a second. You're like, it's on slavery, but it sounded like one of those like it's on Crave. So I was like, what channel, what streaming service is this?
Yeah, no, it's the topic is slavery. And one of the things that I learned while researching for it is that the church in medieval Europe often owned slaves, but being the church, they would try and put forward this like view of like they're much more gentle with their slaves than non-church slave owners would be. So they would like the work wouldn't be as hard, and they would often pay them a very, very tiny wage, usually in the form of like you can keep some of the plants that you grew. But then they turn around and require their slaves to tithe. So it's like, I own you as property, but here's a little bit of stuff that you can have for yourself, but also you owe me that stuff back. Like, Christianity's wonderful, ain't it?
Yeah, it makes so much sense. Oh, you just, again, you didn't even let me finish that sentence.
Sorry.
When some people tithe, they see it as a burden that must be fulfilled, while others see it as an opportunity to give back to God. Paul said, God loves a cheerful giver.
Yeah, I cheerfully give to charities that actually do shit.
Sex is a wonderful opportunity for us to give back, and ladies, our men also love a cheerful giver. Yay!
Like, yes, but she's also making it.
Someday tonight. Like, I don't know what she wants me to do.
She wants you to have sex with me anytime I want it, regardless of whether you want it or not.
But I'm a cheerful giver.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. But I also appreciate that you can say no sometimes.
But can I?
Yes.
Is that actually allowed?
Yes. In our relationship, it is.
A woman must never use sex as a weapon to punish her husband or as a reward to get what she wants. You don't want punishment.
The last chapter was all about how, or no, actually, that was the beginning of this chapter. If you want him to fix the faucet, have more sex with him.
But would you be angry with me if I gave you sex as a reward?
No.
Okay. Sorry, Sharon. Doesn't care. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Am I allowed to use it as a reward or am I not? Because Sharon says I'm not, but you said you don't care.
I like it when you say I'm a good boy.
You're a good boy. Sharon, what do I do? The Bible tells, oh, wait. A woman. A prostitute sells sex for favors, not a wife. This prostitute also makes a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
A consensual
Also, in the Old Testament, prostitution was fine, as long as they weren't married.
Damn it. Along these same lines, a man who feels that he is begging or asking his wife for a favor is a man who feels humiliated rather than fulfilled.
What if he has a humiliation kink? Then the way you fulfill him is by humiliating him.
Damn it, Sharon! There's so many conflicting things. I don't know what to do. Damn it. Although these same lines Along these same lines, a man who feels that he is begging or asking his wife for a favor is a man who feels humility rather than fulfilled. Ladies, sexual fulfillment for a man is more than ejaculation. Boy, and that was hard to write.
Why was that hard to write? Like, it's true.
Insert pen.
I feel like that's right. Was she trying to do that?
I feel like she was.
I was giving it a pass this time because I'm like, whatever. But like,
I mean, I'm sure she wasn't, but I feel like she was.
She's done better than that in ones that were very clearly accidental.
Boy, that was hard to write. But some of us need to be shocked into understanding the truth.
What was supposed to be shocking about that? Is it that she wrote the word ejaculation and that's supposed to make us all like titter and go like, she just wrote a dirty word about semen?
I don't know, because last week she was digging at the vaginas.
Yeah, that's true. Like scooping it out like an ice cream.
The Bible tells us that the wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears hers down. Proverbs 14:1. I feel like that applies across genders.
Yeah, it'd be pretty foolish for a man to tear his own house down too. I think what that's trying to say though is with regards to like patriarchal society, the woman builds her husband up because he's the one providing her with a house.
Mm-hmm.
So if she tears him down, then he's going to not be happy about providing her with a house anymore and kick her out. So it's like survival advice for women.
Yeah,
In
but it's also very stupid because, like,
it's kind of like a well duh.
a wise man shouldn't tear down his house, though. Like, regardless of their intentions, what they said is,
Yeah.
like, nobody should be tearing down their own house unless it needs to be demolished. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, it's not a good and that's one of the proverbs. So it's supposedly written by the wisest man to ever live.
He needs to take that back for some edits.
Well, that's one of the, like the thing that's always given as like Solomon being the wisest man to ever live. The example that is always pulled is when he threatened to cut a baby in half when two women were arguing over whose baby it was. It's like, how would that solve anything? Like, yeah, the one woman said, yeah, sure, that's fine. So clearly it's not hers because she doesn't actually care about it. But like, I feel like in reality, the way that would play out is both women would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? How would that solve any problem? That's just stupid.
It's true.
Because that's not wisdom. That's just stupidity. But that's the quintessential example of Solomon's wisdom.
That's it? That's all he got?
Yeah.
I think we need to be using our hands to build up our houses and build up our husbands. If you get my drift.
Stick a finger in his butt?
I don't quite know what she's saying.
Stick a finger in his butt while you're jerking him off with the other hand. Because that's using your hands to sexually fulfill him. That's what I got from that passage.
I feel like she was actually trying to be dirty like that.
Yeah. She sounded like she was going for it.
Yeah, and then she's like, if you get my drift.
Yeah. Because she has to signal when she's actually trying to be dirty because she accidentally does it all the time. It's way more funny when she accidentally does it.
I hear women complain that their husbands won't talk to them. They desire to have a fluent line of communication running at all times. However, when a woman refuses her husband sexually, it is as if she is snipping the lines of communication one refusal at a time.
No, because okay, it's such a cliche at this point that like men will have sex with you and then roll over and go to sleep. So like having a bunch of sex with him is not going to get him to talk to you. Like having a good relationship where you enjoy talking to each other is what gets him to talk to you.
Yes. I don't remember what I was going to say just now.
Okay. So fun fact, this just came up the other day. I forget in what context, but I mentioned that like when I was getting assessed for ADHD, all the self-assessments that they give you, they're one of the ones that comes up multiple times in like all the different categories is like, do you have difficulty like waiting your turn in conversation and like do you interrupt people or whatever? And I was like, no, I don't interrupt people more than the average guy does probably. Like, no, I have no problem waiting my turn in conversations. As soon as I said that to her, she just burst out laughing. It's like, that's why those assessments should be done with someone who actually knows you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could have invited Cirrus to that conversation.
Okay, so in my defense, I feel like I have kind of trained myself over the years to be more prone to that sort of thing, because as a content creator, especially with live streams, dead air is like, no, you don't want dead air ever. So like I've kind of trained myself to like anytime there's a threat of dead air maybe to start filling that void. And so like through that method, like it's just, I tend to be very quick about filling that void. That's what she said. Now you're just doing this on purpose. You're just doing this to mess with me. When we first started dating and she first figured out that I wasn't neurotypical, she would play this game where she would like make hard eye contact with me and then see how long I would maintain it before I started getting all awkward and not knowing what to do or where to look.
He still does it.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute. Pretty soon, all lines are dead. No dial tone. Nada. That doesn't mean it has to stay that way.
I mean, if you have a dial tone, that means you're not currently connected. And you need to actually dial the number to get connected. Because the dial tone, that's when you pick up the phone and it just goes, and you're not talking to anybody when there's a dial tone.
She said, no, there's no dial tone.
Yeah. So if there's no dial tone, that means you're connected to someone.
Or your phone's not plugged in.
Or that.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. For you young whippersnappers in the audience, a dial tone is what used to happen on touch-tone phones before cell phones were a thing. So you'd pick your phone up off the hook and you would hear a ding kind of tone. So that that was telling you that it's time for you to push the buttons to call someone. And then it would like listen to the tone that the buttons made in order to figure out what number you pushed.
That's how the telephone worked?
Yeah. That's actually why there was a brief period of time where payphones, you could actually trick them into letting you call for free, because the way they worked was that when you put in the correct coin, it would play a tone that was picked up by the payphone's software or whatever that registered as like, that's the coin just went in tone. So it like used the same technology as like the touch tone dialing did to determine that you paid. So you could just like record that tone and then play it back into the microphone of the phone. And it would be like, okay, yeah, you paid.
Interesting. Oh, a little electrical work and you're back in business. However, if the lines have been out for quite some time, it may take time to make the connection work properly again. You may even get a few wires crossed, but don't give up.
Have you tried restarting the router?
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Turn it off and back on.
How do you think I solved my cell phone problem today? Oh, I'm not saying that a wife must say yes to sex every time her hunk of burning love approaches her, but she does need to be careful how she responds. Sharon, you told me it was a duty and I had to fulfill it, and now you're telling me I don't have to fulfill. I don't know.
Sharon's
what you're
good at
trying
sending
to say.
mixed messages.
If
Mark Smith is saying no, it would count the clicks when you spin the dial. Yeah, that's not touch tone dialing. That was the rotary phones. And that's actually early touch tone phones actually had a switch on them, so you could switch between, like, it would make the clicks for it to count, or it would do the touch tone dialing thing or whatever. Because I think there was a period of time where like the whole world wasn't like up to speed on touch tone, so like it would only work with rotary or it would only work with touch tone or whatever.
rotaries were fun.
Yeah, I just who was it that decided that 911 was a good idea with because now the first one is the one that takes the longest to go back, and it's even worse in England where it was 999. Oh. It's like it's an emergency, as opposed to just
111.
Okay, back to the book.
Back to the book. I'm not. Oh, yes, you are saying that a wife, but
in
no.
Japan, it's 110 for police. That makes perfect sense with the rotary phone because those are the quick ones.
So smart. That's what I just said.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Sakura just posted that. It's that.
But then you were mansplaining it to me, but I literally just said it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think I learned anything from the. If I learned anything from the hundreds of men who answered my survey, I learned men are very fragile when it comes to their sexuality. Oh.
Yeah. Men are fragile. That's not the women's fault. That's the men's fault.
Yeah.
Also, apparently 0 is the number that takes longer than 9. So that's even worse than 911, actually. The 110.
Oh, I didn't hear the 0 part.
Yeah.
I thought you said 111.
No, 110.
Oh, that's what I was saying. I was saying it should just be 111.
Oh, there we go. In New Zealand, it's 111. There we go.
Oh, yes, New Zealand.
The Kiwis are the smart ones.
Damn it. Oh, if I learned anything from the hundreds of men who answered my survey, I learned men are very fragile when it comes to their sexuality.
'Cause-
Compare these two scenarios.
Oh God.
Scenario 1. Clyde comes slinking into the bathroom as Betty is putting the finishing touches on her 15-minute face cleansing and moisturizing routine.
Oh my God, does she have to get that specific? Like, who fucking cares?
He runs his hands down her back and grins. Not now, Clyde. Betty snaps. I don't understand why they put the descriptive word at the end, because I've already read it. So now I have to go back and reread it with the...
Just to be clear, this is her criticizing literary works in general that use that style, not specifically Sharon's.
Yeah, because it's like, how do I know that they snapped if you tell me after I've already said it in my head?
Yeah, I know.
And then I have to go back and say it in a snappy voice. So do that.
But also, like, is there a footnote after this story?
Hold on. It's not done yet. I got one more line.
Okay.
I've had a hard day, and that's the last thing on my mind. No, there is not.
Okay. So that's almost exactly the same scenario that she already outlined earlier in this chapter. Like,
I know.
she's so unoriginal, she can't even stop from plagiarizing herself in one chapter.
Yup.
She just gave more detail to how the woman is washing her face.
I agree with you, babes. I'm not arguing.
I'm not saying that you're arguing.
My dogs. Yeah, my baby. Mom, there's a camera there.
Why'd you have to try?
Scenario number 2.
She was being so good.
Frank comes slinking into the bathroom as Tessa is putting the finishing touches on her 15-minute face cleansing moisturizing.
Did she change the names?
Regime. Yeah.
She changed the names, but everything else is identical. Why? Why bother? Why bother changing the names at this point?
Hold on. He runs his hand down her back and grins. There, we are now complete from the previous scenario.
Yeah.
Like that portion is now complete.
That part's identical.
This is the unidentical one. Now that's a nice idea, she replies. See? Now you fucking go back and read it. And like now that's a nice idea. She replies, I'll tell you what, big guy. I had an extremely tiring day today, but if you'll hold that thought until tomorrow, I'll make it a night you won't soon forget.
Okay, so like I was saying earlier, the manner of the rejection matters. Now, that's a bit over the top and kind of dumb. Like, you can just be like, I'm not in the mood right now. And I would be fine.
Sharon says I have to.
Like, yeah, the snapping is what made the other one problematic.
Like,
not the lack of erotic world building or whatever.
Like, I'm just so confused because the first part of this chapter was talking about you have to submit, you have to give him to his desires, or you're going to tempt him elsewhere, blah, blah, blah. And now the last half is like, you can refuse him, just do it gently. I venture to say that both men will be disappointed, but only one will feel dejected. Ladies, if you do ask for a continuance, keep your promise and make it worth his weight. You better believe he'll be thinking about you all the next day, and
But
don't
what
be
if you had a
surprised
bad
if
day
he
the
comes
next day
home
too?
early.
What if you had a bad day the next day too?
I don't know, because she tells me I can't reject him, but then she tells me I can. I don't know. Can I reject him 2 days in a row? Is there like an outline of what I can and cannot do here? What if your husband is pressuring you to do something that you're not comfortable with?
Then
Dare
you
say, Sharon.
don't have to do it.
Dare say I want to know what he's not comfortable with, though.
Well, she's probably going to just be like, anal sex is a no-no because that's the out hole, not the in hole.
I suggest you tell him in a loving way that you're not comfortable with that suggestion. Good advice, Sharon. But if it is something that is not wrong, just different, you might consider trying it out. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, like her definition of what's wrong, though, is...
I know. That's why I wanted you to know what the thing was. A husband should never pressure his wife to perform sex that makes her feel degraded. But
Unless she's into that.
Well, no, but I was also going to say, like, sex when I don't want it to have sex
Makes you feel degraded.
makes me feel degraded.
Mm-hmm.
Love does not demand its own way. 1 Corinthians 13:5.
Yeah, which means that he should be able to take a no.
Especially in the
Without
bedroom. She emphasizes.
Yeah, So he should be able to take no for an answer without it affecting the relationship, like she's saying it will.
Yeah.
At least if it's actually a relationship based on love.
Yeah. But like, I don't understand this chapter because one half is saying one thing and the next half is saying the other. I wish my wife understood that meeting my sexual needs is like putting money in the bank. Men long for passion in a relationship. Justin.
That's my name.
That is.
That wasn't me.
Are you sure? Maybe that's why you have this copy, because you wanted to see if you were in the book.
How old was I when she wrote this, though? Like, probably like 5. Judging by her references, this book is from the 90s.
Like 97. My wife is very responsive to me sexually and emotionally. We enjoy our
2005.
time.
So yeah, I was actually married when this.
See?
Well, I got married in 2005. So depending on what month it came out.
My wife is very responsive to me sexually and emotionally. We enjoy our time of intimacy very much. Paul. Oh, I'm glad you guys enjoy each other.
Good for you.
Yeah. One thing I wish my wife understood is that sexual contact makes me feel close to her. Just like spending time and talking to her makes me feel close to me. Makes her feel close to me. Stan.
Yeah, you have to be close to someone to be inside them. Because that's how physical proximity works. I know they meant emotionally close. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry.
I was confused. I was like, what? What did I misunderstand?
I can't get inside you if I'm not close to you.
That is true. The following is a prayer request that I received at Proverbs 31 Ministry. My husband and I have been married for almost 7 years now. The whole time I have had a problem with my sex drive. This led to him finding what he wanted on the internet, and he would also call other women and talk to them. When I found this out...
Okay. Calling other women and talking to them, not inherently problematic. It is okay to have friends of the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. If you're calling other women to talk to them because you feel like you are lacking in a romantic... Your romantic relationship is lacking and you're getting that from talking to these other women, then that's not necessarily tied to sex, because like it doesn't say he's having sex with these other women.
No.
So what's stopping you from talking to your wife that you are also apparently not having sex with? You can still talk to her, and maybe she'll be more amenable to sex if you are more amenable to having meaningful conversations. But also that kind of reads as like he never got caught cheating on her. So it's like, no, we were just talking.
Oh, that's what I presumed it was. That's what they told the wife, and the wife believed it. And...
Yeah, okay.
Okay. When I found this out, he apologized and said he would never do it again. He has recently gotten a new secretary, and she brings him hot chocolate in the morning, and they spend all day together in the office.
That's what secretaries do. They spend the day with you doing the secretarial stuff that you need done.
Mm-hmm. He also calls her on his cell phone very often. I've questioned him about this, and he thinks I'm just too jealous.
Well, see, that's an issue of workplace professionalism, because like you shouldn't be calling your secretary after hours on her personal line. Like, no, you give her time away from the office to be away from the office, and you are in a position of authority over her. So like any relationship is going to have to take that dynamic into account. So like, is she answering your calls after hours because she actually wants to talk to you, or because she doesn't want to get fired?
Could go either way.
Yeah, and that's why relationships like that are inherently problematic. I'm not saying that it can't happen, that a romance between a secretary and her boss could ever work out and not be exploitative.
You want to read?
I'm just saying the dynamic of the relationship lends itself to exploitation.
Yes. I agree. Puddles agrees. Too jealous, and it is stupid for me to act this way. I just need help in letting the past be the past and trusting him.
I mean, he has a history of infidelity, even though we're pretending like it's not infidelity. Someone just rang the doorbell, I think. Did you lock the door?
No.
Okay, I'm going to check the door.
Spooky. So he has a door cam and he doesn't see who's at the door. So he's like, "Ugh, oh man, I'm gonna go check the door." And then he's gonna tell me that I actually did lock the door and one of the kids are outside and they can't get in the house.
Listen to us. Nope. Nobody there. I'm just hearing things.
Or he's just hearing things. That's the other alternative.
Don't need that right now. Okay.
Yeah, no, if someone has a
We're almost
history of infidelity,
You don't just automatically get trust because you said, "Hey,
Yeah.
I want trust now," and
he
you
has
said you
to
forgave
earn
me.
it back. And if
Yeah.
he's doing things that makes you feel uncomfortable, he should respect your feelings based on his past reactions and adjust accordingly. You know where the first red flag popped up in my mind.
Yeah, when I started reading the chapter that said women have to submit to their husbands even if they don't want to, that's a pretty big red flag.
Well, that's at the end of the book. The red flag should have
Yeah, there were a lot of red flags that came up earlier. But...
let's just stop. Oh, wait. I have had a problem with my sex drive. That was the red flag.
From him or from her?
From
Who's the one that had the problem with the sex drive?
the person that wrote in.
This is stories from guys?
No, this is a woman talking about her husband and saying her sex drive, and then she has a low sex drive, so her husband went elsewhere. And Sharon says that the problem is the fact that the woman had, like, not the problem. I can't do it right now. Like, her red flag of reading this story
is that the woman had the low sex drive.
Yes. Not that low sex drives is a red flag.
Ugh.
Anyways,
Yep.
let's just stop right there. What have you done to correct the problem?
What's he done to correct the problem? Now, if the guy is poking around elsewhere, that's not the woman's fault.
No, but it's her fault that she doesn't have a high sex drive.
Even if the relationship is bad, if there are problems with the relationship, you can still choose not to cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
but it's her fault because
no,
she had a low sex drive.
No.
So she forced him to go out.
Now, if she chose to stay with him knowing that he had, well, I mean, she, according to this,
she did.
He didn't have sex, but like, if she's making the choice to stay with him, then, you know, it is a little bit her fault that, you know, the same issues are cropping up again, where like she could at this point just be like, okay, well, I don't trust you because you demonstrated before that you're not trustworthy and you have not earned my trust yet. And so that's a valid reason to be like, nope, peace out. I'm gone.
Who to be peace out?
Either, but the woman in this scenario.
Yes. No. Yes. Because I believe in giving people second chances.
Yeah.
But
you have to actually earn the second.
But you have to earn it. Like, you can't just be like, okay, tomorrow night I'm going out with my secretary. I'll be back later. No. You have. It's not when you are ready to let the past be the past. It's when I am ready to let the past be the past.
Mm-hmm. If he can't deal with that, then that's his problem, not hers.
But so often the gaslighting that comes from that, like, I used to get told all the time, I already apologized. It's in the past. Or I'm not talking about this again because we've already dealt with this. Yes, intellectually we have dealt with it, but emotionally, I have not dealt with this, and I need to revisit this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of men use that as gaslighting to women. It's like they cheat and they apologize, they'll never do it again, and then he'll give her like,
they get mad when they aren't implicitly trusted.
Yeah, but he'll give her like, damn it, stop fucking interrupting me.
I don't interrupt.
A few opportunities to be like, oh, I'm not comfortable for you to do that, or oh, I'm not comfortable, and then by the third time it's like, no, I'm over this. So it's like they give you just enough, and then they're like, nope, and then they go back to their bad habits, and then they apologize, and the cycle goes on and on.
Yeah.
I'm not. Oh, let's just stop right there. We have what we have. What we have. What you have done to. What have you done to correct the problem? I'm not making excuses for men who go to chat rooms or porn sites.
Yes, she absolutely is.
I'm not making.
You can't make excuses for that behavior and then say I'm not making excuses for that behavior and have that be a true statement. Like we saw what you just wrote in this very chapter.
Yeah, well, she's preempting that, you know, she's not going to make excuses before she makes the next excuse, though. Just to preempt that. Okay. I'm not making excuses for men who have affairs with their secretaries,
But
either mentally or physically. However,
that's but.
this young gal needs to realize that when she is not meeting her husband's sexual needs, she is tempting him to go to get those needs met elsewhere.
That is a him problem.
But when we have a husband who is sexually fulfilled, he'll be saying, there's no place like home.
But what if the sexual thing that he's into is group sex, and that's what will fulfill him?
Oh, but God already covered that by saying you can't make her do anything degrading.
Well, no, you should never. Okay, aside from what the Bible says is appropriate for sex, you should never pressure someone into anything. So, like, if group sex is what fulfills you, then you need to find a partner that's okay with that.
Yes.
But there are people who that is something that they find fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they supposed to do?
What do you mean?
In her worldview, what are they supposed to do?
Not like that.
It's just not an option sometimes.
No, you just choose to not like it.
No.
You like group sex?
I've never had group sex. Maybe I do.
You have this free woman in your imagination.
It is not. Yes, but it's not something that I need to be fulfilled.
So you want to try group sex?
Yes.
Hi, baby.
But I will never pressure you into that. If that's something that you are never going to be comfortable with, then I will also be like, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to like be on my deathbed being like, I wish I had a threesome.
Okay. That's the end of the chapter.
Okay. As if you could read now.
Dad, stop talking.
Okay.
Kisses.
So yeah, that's we were in the chapter that I didn't think we were, but it was short enough that we managed to get through the difficult one as well. So next chapter is called Get Creative, so that one should be fun.
What you mean with like paints and a sheet and like?
Well, this is the sex section, so
naked painting. I don't know. Sharon's throwing some surprise at me.
Her version of creativity is just like sprinkle rose petals sometimes.
No, like she has surprised me with some of the things she has said. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's something in there like kind of unexpected.
All right, well, we'll see you next week. See you next Thursday. Oh, look at your dog. Look at your doggy. Who's your good puppy?
Love you.
Where's the other? Ah, there it is.